We breaking the code, empower stories, let the truth unfold. Master your life, let your purpose shine. Together we'll rise, it's your time to climb. Welcome to the journey, where it's time to ignite. With Coach Amber J, we'll reach a new, so get ready, get ready. Let's elevate, unlocking those keys, it's never too late. You're feeling good and looking right. With Coach Amber J, guaranteed to shine bright. Get ready.
You are the master key. Let's get started. Hey, you guys, it is Key Talk with yours truly, Coach Amber J, your go-to CEO, life coach, and wardrobe expert. Here on this podcast, we're all about unlocking the keys to a successful work-life balance. Together, we'll empower you to live a fulfilling life without the burnout, all while looking and feeling your best. Today, we are diving into a transformative topic, December declutter. As we close out this year and look ahead to 2025, it's the perfect time to detach from who no longer serves you and delete the mental clutter and recreate a fabulous future. We have a very special key guest today joining us, Jason Elavation, business advisor in aromatherapy for women in business. So grab a cozy drink, get your pens out, get comfy, and let's experience how we can make the most of this month. So welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Amber. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes,
I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
Yes.
We've been friends on social media for years.
For half a decade.
Yes. Moved to Las Vegas. We met once, and here we are again.
Here
Look
we
at
are.
that.
Yes, we are.
So thank you. Welcome to Key Talk.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited about the things that you've been doing. I've been able to watch you, over social media. So proud, of the woman in business that you have become.
Thank you.
Definitely up and coming. You stay in it to win it with no limits on your percentage.
You better say that. Did y'all catch some keys? I appreciate that. So tell the people who you are.
Yes. So I can look this way. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I have been involved for years on the low in business management advisory for executive women and eucalyptus aromatherapy. I believe the season of time is very unique for women in business. They've been on an incline in every area now. There's over 400 female billionaires that have been documented, in the world right now. And so I believe it's important that women, when they become wealthy, that balance between, body care, business management, and financial advisory. And so that's what I do. I bridge that trilogy of excellence.
Okay. Yes. All I heard was billions. Listen, I need to be in those numbers. Okay. So as we dive into this month, I'm really big on taking time to reflect over the year, to reflect your wins, your losses, just reflect where you are, being honest with yourself, and how do you move into 2025? We always want to start with this new year, like it's going to be new year, new me. But how do you actually have a new year, new me if you don't deal with where you are right now? And so this month is about decluttering, about deleting, about detaching, and then recreating. So tell me, what is your approach? What is your approach on, sorry, my question got lost. So as we approach the end of the year, what are some of the physical items in our spaces that we can let go of to make room for the new energy in the coming year?
Wow. One of the things that I know is so key for women of excellence is clothes and shoes. Okay. It matters what you step into, and it matters what you step out of. Yeah. And so it's very important that when you've walked certain places in certain shoes, it generates certain memories. And so one of the things you're going to want to let go is where did you go when you were wearing that? Yes. And are you sure you want to go into your new wearing the same thing?
Come on.
That was connected to that same place.
Yes.
And so, definitely want to deal with clothes and shoes off the top of the head. Anything else, anything that tends to remind you of something traumatic.
That's
So
good.
yeah, anything where something happened to you on that couch or on that bed or in that chair or in that particular bathroom, it matters. Presence and location matters. Whenever in the Bible, whenever God gave a prophecy always had a due date.
Yes,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
just like when a woman is pregnant,
Hmm.
okay, she knows that that baby is going to be born at a specific place and at a specific time. Okay.
Right.
And so they know something's wrong when the birthing process is past its due date.
Yes.
It's the same thing where you can be so traumatized by certain things that when God is trying to do something new and birth something new through your life, you end up going past your due date
Right.
because of the trauma in a location. And so that's very, very key. Anything that generates trauma, that has the capacity to limit you being productive at the right time, your prophetic birth at the right time, you're going to want to abandon those things. Yes, anything
That's
that
good.
brings that. Sure.
And I want to even go back on that, especially as a wardrobe expert. It's
Mhm.
so important to me, especially with my clients, that it's good to declutter your closet. Like clothes and shoes and
Mhm.
items, they matter.
Mhm.
And not only from a traumatic response either, but where you're going. Does this look represent the person that you want to become? Does it represent the rooms that you want to walk in? Does it represent who you're becoming? Because a lot of times we only want to focus on some of the traumatic parts, but I really want to start to shift my mind going into 2025, because I feel like if we live in abundance and we stay in that state of abundance, lack won't matter as much, right?
Mhm.
And so we do have to identify, yes, these are some traumatic experiences that have happened, but I don't want to recreate them by living in those memories.
Okay.
So let's release that trauma. Let's
Mm.
release those clothes. And who do you want to become? Where I need to make room in my closet to be able to go get new clothes. Even for myself, like I'm in a space, I'm losing weight. And so some of my old clothes don't fit. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't wait to get out of all these clothes so I can go shop for this new
Mhm.
body. Okay. So that's
Mhm.
really good, but you gave some really good insight, especially time and location matter. When it's
Yes.
time to birth something, you need to be in position
Mhm.
so that you can actually birth that thing
Yes,
and don't miss it.
absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
So I want to go into question number 2.
Mhm.
How do you feel when you finally release items that no longer bring you joy or serve a purpose?
Usually there's always some measure of grieving.
That is true.
Yeah, whether something has been good in your life or bad in your life, your
Mhm.
heart does not register that. It only registers the loss.
Yeah.
And so unless you give yourself that time and that permission to
Mhm.
feel the loss, even when you do need to let it go.
Yeah, when it no longer gives you that joy.
Yes, yes.
That's so good. I love that you said permission, because I think um, within our bodies and our mindsets and our subconscious, like giving yourself that permission to say, like, okay, this no longer brings you joy, even though it's comfortable,
Mm,
even though it's familiar,
mm,
doesn't mean that it's still necessary for where you're going.
mm,
And giving yourself permission literally helps with that process of the grief of loss, because good or bad still has to be processed. It's all about transition.
mm.
So that's a good point.
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right. So let's go into, what thought patterns or beliefs do you see people holding on to that might hinder their growth as we
Hmm.
move into a new year?
Yeah, the strongest one that I see, especially as we said, surrounding the context for women in business and women in excellence and women in leadership, one of their biggest challenges in going from one season to the next is when they had dreams. Watch this, of family.
Mm,
And trying to balance business and family seems to be the biggest challenge for women in leadership. And when family, the fantasy of family didn't come together the way that they thought it would. And
Elaborate on that.
yeah, yeah. Well, when some have fantasy that, yes, that they, of course, they would meet a rich man by now, and they'd have 3, 4, 5 kids, and they'd have 2 homes, and one by the island, and one in New York, one in LA, and one in Bermuda. By this time, and then only to go into a year, and there's no home in Bermuda, and there was no rich man, and no, there's still stuck with the kids they got versus the ones they thought they'd have. And so now it can be hard, yes, to go into a new year with new ideas and new challenges and new opportunities when she's still disappointed over last year and the last 5, the last 10 that did not manifest, yes, that fantasy of family. So in letting go,
I want to hit on that disappointment because I know for me, 2023 was that year, or 2020 going into 2022 for me. It wasn't until I identified that there was disappointment that I was able to actually move forward with the vision and the dream, because even though it didn't happen in that season doesn't mean it won't happen. But sometimes they don't, the vision or the dream, it doesn't happen in the time that you want because you're focused on the time frame, right? And so it wasn't until for me I identified that I was disappointed when this didn't happen, so it was hindering me from moving forward. So really take a moment this month as you're reflecting on some of the wins or some of the losses or some of the things you have to let go of. Was it disappointment in there? Did you get disappointed? Did you disappoint yourself? Did somebody disappoint you? But really think about that, because I think when we can identify a thing, we can then move on from that thing.
The discovery should always lead to recovery.
Yes, come on.
Absolutely.
Come on with the isms.
Yes. And so yes, Coach Amber, when we can discover our disappointments, then we can also recover our deliverance.
Come on. Recover your deliverance. I love that.
Yes, indeed. And so in these cases, yes, when it comes to, this last month of the year and celebrating, going into a new one, part of that disappointment is acknowledging and being honest with yourself as a woman about your expectations. Yes, I learned
them expectations.
Yes, I learned one of the hardest things, not just as a man, but as a successful man, in learning to deal with women, was when they were upset with me, not for what I did to them, but for what I didn't do, that I didn't know that they were expecting. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes women don't always communicate in a way that a man can understand what she's expecting of him. So here she's upset and mad and feeling vengeful, and I have no clue where all that's coming from because I didn't do anything.
Right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Versus when a woman is mad because, a guy hit her and she's mad over getting hit, or a guy, yes, he purposefully, stole her money or made her look bad in front of other people and said something negative about her. So now you know why she's mad. But what do you do? What do you do when she doesn't tell you she was expecting something and you don't know? And now she's upset and you're trying to figure out why she's upset. So that was my big thing as an advisor, as I became, successful and my voice, was more respected amongst women in leadership. I began to address these issues because the more money and power that women possess, the more it becomes important that the relationships with the men in their lives, are really functional relationships, whether it's a son, a nephew, a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a mentor. Okay, they want the relationships with their men to be dynamic, yes, and to be effective. And so in order to do that, learning how to communicate in ways that men can understand, in the same way I've learned to communicate in a way that women can understand.
We need to have a whole topic just about expectations and communications with men and women, because there is definitely a disconnect. And I have to admit that and I think that women don't even realize that they're projecting these expectations until they're in the heat of it and they're like, oh wait, what is happening? And you're already in the midst of it. And because we're not logical creatures, we're emotional, sometimes it be too late.
It is. And I will tell you, at this age and stage of my life, I'm gonna be 42 on December 22nd.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm excited I love being in my fabulous 40s. And so, I'm single, saved, and successful. It's just me, myself, and all my millions, but and in doing so, it's allowed me though that hindsight perspective where I used to tell women when I was just starting out, dating and things of that nature, I would always say, listen, I am not going to be able to read your mind.
Mm,
Okay, there may be things that you want from me or expect from me, but you do have to tell me. Do
that's
not
right.
hold me to the standard of a mind reader, yes, and a heart fixer if you don't communicate to me what it is. Because most of the time, if I really love you and like you, I'm gonna try to do what you ask me, but I
That's
can't
right.
do it if you don't tell me. Okay, do not hold me accountable for expectations that you didn't communicate. They're yours. And oftentimes that did make the relationship easier, you know what I'm saying, where even if it did not work out for other reasons, the reason wasn't communication.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
listen, the key today to take away is to use your words.
Mhm.
Okay. Ask for what you want and what you need, but don't expect them to know that you want or need that without verbally expressing that
Yes.
and being clear. And listen, if he's unable to give it to you, accept it, receive it, and reject it if it's not what you want and move on. But you have to use your words. So, take
Mhm.
heed.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So,
Yes.
how can we practice detachment from negative influences or toxic relationships what strategies would you recommend?
Detaching in relationship. I
What
think the first, yeah, let's continue to, but I think the first thing when it comes to detaching in relationship is being honest, like we said, about what hurt you, what disappoints you. But watch this, there's the flip side to that coin, is also being honest as to why. Why is it that you want what you want? And if you're not honest about why you want what you want, it's going to be not just difficult getting it, hear me, it'll be difficult protecting it after you get it.
mm.
Okay, anything valuable needs protection.
Is there some questions in the comments?
Oh yeah, there's a whole conversation.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take on those questions.
Oh my God.
Look, you're gonna have to read these comments later, but I'll tell you one of the questions comes from Lady B, and it is, how do you deal with the disappointment of delay? How do you keep
Yes.
yourself together?
Yes, and that's a great comment, Lady V. Yes, great question. How do you deal with the disappointment of delay? Yes, asking yourself, watch this, asking yourself when it comes to delays, was the delay connected to something you didn't know,
Mm,
or was the delay connected to the place you were in?
So,
Okay.
time and
Yes.
location.
Whenever there's a delay in timing, timing is usually connected to a location or it's connected to a lack of knowledge. Seasons change whenever our knowledge changes.
That's
And,
good.
and the one thing, right, because people don't want to sound offensive when they say, well, are you sure you know everything you need to know to manifest what you want to manifest? There may be another level of knowledge that may need to be unfolded to complete the totality of your intellectual excellence. And that's a big component. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, not
Mm-hmm.
because of evil, but because of a lack of knowledge. So it bears the question, what is it that we don't know? And because we don't know that, it's delayed. And sometimes the lack of knowledge, watch this, Lady B, is not so much, okay, that you didn't know how to get something. It's that God knows that you didn't know how to keep it.
That's good.
And so you don't want to get the thing and then lose the thing after you get it, not
Yeah.
knowing how to keep what you were working for. So take the delay as a chance to mature in maintenance,
That's good.
obtaining a thing and then maintaining a thing.
And
Absolutely.
that's a different mindset too,
Yes.
because we can
Yes.
get it. And you see it. You see a lot of people get a lot of money.
Mhm.
People that win the lottery,
All the
right? They
time.
get a lot of money,
All the
but they don't
time.
have the knowledge or the
No.
know-how to maintain it. And
Mm-mm.
so you see them broke
Yes.
or in a worse
In a
situation
worse
than they
one.
were
Yes.
before because they just didn't know how to, they didn't
They
have the
didn't.
knowledge to maintain it. That's a great question.
They
That's a
didn't.
great answer and
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
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 So let's go
Mhm.
back to this. How can we practice detachment from negative influences or toxic relationships?
Yes, practicing detachment. And that's its own book, that's its own topic, that's its own series. Practicing detachment, especially when you consider dimensional detachment. Yes, where there are dimensions that we live in simultaneously. Where we're in a territorial one, being here in Las Vegas, being here on the West Coast, being here in the specific time frame where we're 3 hours behind New York. Okay, so all of that has its advantages and its disadvantages.
Yeah.
Okay, where you're physically located, yes, can be something you may need to detach from. You just on the wrong side of the country, and you're not going to get your breakthrough where you are. You've tried, you've cried, and other people have lied. And so you need to detach from that location. It's just not working out for you. Other times, the dimension is cultural. We all are in a culture. Okay, whether we are black, white, Indian, Asian, it doesn't matter. We are all in a culture, and being in a culture, sometimes our culture does have limitations on us. They have their own view of us, and it's hard sometimes for us to break away from that cultural perspective, okay, to go above and beyond what we see ourselves possessing. Okay. Yeah. So there's territorial, there's cultural. If you're in some type of church or religious, then that means it's ecclesiastical. Our churches our religions can impose very serious limitations.
Very.
On us and our ability to achieve and progress. Okay, so you need to take maybe I need to detach a little bit, yes, from that particular institutional organization. Then it's generational, family.
Yeah.
Lord knows, family, mom, dad, brother, sister, yes, aunts, uncles, yes, cousins, nieces, and nephews, family. The way that family can have such a hold on us subconsciously.
Oh, that's a good one. That's heavy. Especially, let's talk about family a little bit, especially since we just, finished the holidays, Thanksgiving holidays.
Sure.
I, for the first time in all of my life, was able to spend time with my mother's side of the family for the holidays. And family, especially knowing your family and not knowing your family, and then being able to connect with your family. There's so many things that I learned in this last week just about myself that I never would have known until I connected with my family. But sometimes that could be a detrimental thing as well, right? Not knowing, like you said, why do I do certain things that I do? Why do I act? Like I went to my aunt's house, and my aunt has heels everywhere, and she has leopard and like affirmations everywhere. I was like, oh my God, is this where I got this from? Like this is who I am, like heels and all of those things. But family could be a thing too.
To detach from, in accordance with your question, detach from, to look for what generational qualities or issues. One thing I noticed that's passed down from family that is so subtle is fear.
Yes.
Where you can have fears and don't even know where they came from. Don't even know why you're afraid of that, why you're afraid to try that, why you're afraid to go but so high before you self-sabotage or hold yourself back from certain things, and can't figure out that you and your family have been living in fear for so long that you don't know that fear is what you're living in until you notice the pattern of lack or the pattern of loss or the pattern of limits. So that's what you need to detach from, where you're noticing a pattern this year. Okay, you're noticing the limits this year, where now you're paying attention and you want to expose and expel any generational limitations that have been created through fear.
Yes. I receive all that. Detaching all fear, okay? Living in faith fully. That was great. So as we get ready to wrap up this session, I want to say thank you so much.
Sure.
Tell people how they can find you.
Down. Yes, it is. Jason and we can face all that stuff. I love interacting and I'm around. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm doing my thing. I'm retired for 16 years in New York City. I finally came out to Vegas to retire and enjoy myself, and always a blessing to see my queens doing great things.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So before we completely end the show, I do want to end with this question. What habits or routines do you think we should consider deleting to create space for a healthier choice in 2025?
Habits to consider deleting. Yes, indeed.
Or routines.
Yes, habits or routines that you could consider deleting. Yes, the one thing I would definitely, as a habit, consider deleting is in 2025, just see what you can do, but take a break from answering the phone from people who you know bring drama.
Mm,
You already know. Soon as
mm.
you see their name on the caller ID, you already know. In 2025, it's okay to take a break. It's okay.
Yes.
Let that go to voicemail in 2025. Just see what a year is like without certain voices who then bring certain choices.
Mm. Did y'all hear that? I hope y'all caught that key. It is okay not to answer the phone. D&D some people, okay?
Yes.
Do not let them disturb your peace.
Yes.
I definitely have to say, for me, this
Mm,
year habits are putting you first. It's okay to be selfish.
mm,
Like 2025, we talk about this soft girl era, soft guy era,
mm,
but literally learn to live in that space on a day-to-day basis. Be okay
mm,
with taking care of you
mm,
every day. Like the more your cup is full, the more it's easier it is to give other people. And also really live in love, y'all. Like it's time to check y'all hearts, stop blaming
mm,
family and everything else, but really do a heart check for
mm,
yourself and see where can you improve and fix that and live
mm,
in 2025 with really being the real authentic version of yourself,
mm,
healed, whole, and complete. So that is my detachment declutter series for December. I
mm.
want to tell you guys, next week will be the last key talk. However, I want to tell you that I am hosting the final year's vision board event. So today tickets are going to be available. So if you guys want to come have an amazing intimate time creating a vision board, creating a plan for 2025. A man without a plan plans to fail. So I want to give you an opportunity in a space to come and create your 2025. What does it look like for you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to look like? What do you want to drive? Where do you want to live? What do you want to be doing? It's time to think about those things and create a strategy and a plan. And so on December 21st, we will be hosting our last vision board of the year. Tickets are on sale today. So go get yours. It's going to be an amazing, intimate space for men and women. It's not only limited to women this year, but it's for both. So I would love for you guys to come out, grab a friend, grab your partner, come have an intimate time, creating a space, networking, empowering with other like-minded individuals so that you can actually live in the abundance of your life because you deserve it. So make sure you guys grab tickets, and then I will see you next week for our final key talk of the year. 12/12, we have an amazing key guest that will be joining us. So until next week, I love you all. It's yours truly, Coach Amber J. And make sure you use those keys. They only work if you use them.